things down. I think this game could have been played without any problems at all.
Yeah, but you also said you
why
were
did they
the
follow the coach and not the owner?
Say that again?
Why did they follow the coach and not the owner? You paid the bills.
Well, I mean, it's professional sports. I mean, you build relationships with your coach. Your coach fights for you every day. No one cares about the owner. Only when they get paid. That's all they care about, and that's okay. You know, a lot of these players I built relationships with. Few of these players played with us in the championship series before. We spent the last 3 years I spent trying to get Coach Carras back. You know, so this was a bit of a dream year, I would say. You know, it had, like I said, all the ingredients to be a miracle year, and I was extremely excited about this season. In terms of our players, this is probably the best group of guys we've ever had in Halifax. You know. And I had said to somebody maybe a few weeks ago that these guys is a joy to be around. You know, they were extremely good gentlemen, and I'm sorry that they are put in this situation because they didn't deserve it.
How do you expect to find a new coach and players to play next year if they're listening to something like this and hearing you blame a lot of it on the coach?
Well,
the man you call the very best coach in the world, Andre, outside
absolutely.
the NBA.
And I stick by that. Coach Carras is a great coach. Unfortunately, I think his actions were wrong at that particular time. I think it was a situation that we were offered different scenarios to resolve this issue. When there's a conflict or confrontation, I think individuals can sit down to discuss how you can fix the situation. I think if we would have sat down and Coach could have listened a little bit more how the safety of the players, we could have resolved the matter. It's not that we're neglecting that the players felt a certain way, because if they're saying that they fear for their safety, then that's their reality. That's not saying that they're wrong feeling that way. But as leaders, I think we have to be the ones to go back to them after we are assured that their safety is okay, that everything is in place to make sure that they are safe. I think that game absolutely should have been played and could have been played that night without incident.
So the players left believing that, you know, the game wouldn't actually be forfeited, it would just be postponed, you know. So I don't think any league would ever take that step to, you know, forfeit a game 7. Like, it seems like there was an incompetent decision made. Why couldn't they just postpone it and let things settle down and have the game played?
Well, that's easy said. For one,
Makes the league look bad.
Well, in any other professional league, this would have never occurred. And this hasn't happened anywhere else in the world, and there's a lot more leagues that's a lot more physical than this league. So this wouldn't have happened anywhere else in the world. In terms of the forfeit, if a team doesn't show, that's a forfeit, period. That's the rule. So in terms of the league making a quick decision, it's the rule.
I think it was extraordinary circumstances where they could have sort of, I don't know, ignored that rule for one time.
Well, I mean,
it makes sense. Given
we had, you know, I think somebody emailed me later that night and said, can you play the game the next day or a few days down the road? And we could have had a whole lot of options that I think could have been brought to the table. But we had at that time players that were displaced, players that have contracts to play in other countries. I think Liam had already left to play or has a contract in the Philippines. So nobody had at that particular time was on playing that game again. And I think it was too late for that. We didn't show. It's a forfeit. Windsor was awarded the championship.
Do you have any? You've got 90,000 in fines. You say you took the money from the players, and that's fair. But did you pay the league? Did you keep the money? What's going to happen?
The money from the coaches, the money from the players, and my fine has to go to the league.
Do you have any concerns on how this might affect attendance next season? Because I know that's been a struggle off and on for
Absolutely.
years. What impact is this going to have?
This is extremely detrimental, and not just from an attendance standpoint. You know, we have a responsibility to our partners. You know, having a professional team, especially at this level, is not easy. You have to grind, you know, and it's grassroots. You know, and you have to, when you lose trust, and incidents like this doesn't help, it sets you back. And I'm sure this will set us back some. But I think that if people really realize that this was an unfortunate incident, you know, this could happen anywhere, in any league. It's happened at the NBA level. And it set them back as well. But you eventually, through your hard work and determination, you gain their trust. And I'm hoping that that'll be the same case here.
Were fines paid, and was the salary that was owed to the players used to pay their fines?
It hasn't yet. It just happened this weekend. But the money will go for the players' fines and the coaches' fines. And the monies that is the balance owing will have to be paid by the players themselves, especially those players who play in FIBA-sanctioned leagues around the world. Those fines will have to be paid prior to being cleared by.
Doesn't sound like you're going to appeal any of this.
I'm not going to appeal. I can't appeal on behalf of the players. That is something they have to do themselves. I can't appeal on behalf of the coach. That is something that he has to do himself. But in terms of the appeal for myself, no, I would not appeal that because ultimately I am responsible. I did. If I wouldn't have made that decision, this wouldn't have happened. So I will not be appealing my fine.
What kind of a blow is this to your league nationally? You got a teammate, you're trying to sell your teams, and as an owner in different places, that a team forfeits a game 7. I mean, do you run the risk of other teams saying, we don't want this, I apologize here. Joke league, they don't even play their final. What kind of negative things are going to come out of this?
Well, I mean, you see,
You can be as honest as you want, and I appreciate the honesty.
You see it in it now. I mean, I haven't seen this many media since I've been here, you know, so you can tell that, you know, this is very detrimental. And like I said, in the off season, I mean, our owners meeting is on the 14th, and this is probably going to be the top of the list of discussion. This is an embarrassment. The most important game of the year didn't get played, and that'll hurt any league and any sport. So we have to get our act together as owners. We have to get our act together as a league to make sure that things like this don't occur.
Andre, you said your own ownership might be in jeopardy. At least that thought crossed your mind on Thursday. Is that a possibility at the league level that this might reach to you and your ownership might be rescinded?
My ownership? Yeah. No, my ownership would not be rescinded.
Andre, the league says in these rules, NBL Canada will make immediate and appropriate action, or will take immediate and appropriate action against any player who engages in violent actions. We haven't heard anything.
Say that again.
The league will take immediate and appropriate action against any player who engages in violent actions. We haven't heard anything about the brawl from Thursday afternoon. It's 4 days later, and nothing's happened.
No,
and yet they impose fines on you and all the players from the Rainmen. So I mean, you know, and they didn't go and set up any practice times properly for you, and that could have all been avoided if the practice times were set up. But yet they impose the fines quickly.
Well, the fines were imposed quicker because the action was in place. We didn't show. So that doesn't really need investigating. We didn't show. In terms of the altercation itself, we have Mr. Magley, who's actually doing the investigation. And with that comes talking to players, talking to the coaches. Everybody was involved. I actually have my call tonight in regards to my side of what happened. And there's going to be a lot more fines and penalties and possibly damage from the league from this investigation.
But this says we'll take immediate action, and it wasn't taken.
It is immediate,
Well, not
but
really.
But you can't do it. You can't do it all in one day. We have the game was a few days ago. People were traveling. You have to track down a player to have a conversation with him, and then you have to come to a decision of exactly what's going to be imposed. So it takes time. The investigation takes time.
Christopher,
If
my
you
last
had to call
question.
the cops, if you had to call the police, did you even consider moving the game up the road to London?
We didn't call the police.
You said the cops were gonna come and
No,
escort
I
the guys
said-
in
I
to
said- I
the
didn't say
game.
the
So
cops.
if it was that bad, why would you move the game up the road to London?
I didn't say we called the police. I said that the mayor and the police chief reached out to make sure that things would be put in place for the players to be safe.
I think you said that they would offer a police escort, is what you said.
I
That's
said-
calling the cops.
exactly.
We
No,
don't
no.
split hairs.
No, I did not call the police. I did not.
Andre.
Look, guys,
Kristen.
Andre.
Let me just say this.
Let Joey speak.
Let me just say this.
Andre, I don't hate you. I don't hate you. I just dislike the situation. I worked hard for you on this team for 3 years. 3 years, blood, sweat, and tears for you to try to get in the championship. Even the guys that are not here at all, those guys worked their butts off, man, for you to get a championship, not just for you, for the fans and everyone. Okay? We had a press conference on Saturday. How come you weren't there? What side are you on? Like really, I just want to know what side are you on. Are you fighting for us? Like, I don't hate you at all. I just dislike the situation, like how you're handling the situation.
Yep.
Especially a player like me,
Yep.
and a player like Sai, you know, and the other guys too as well. Like I'm just representing these guys right now. I came in to represent those guys. So I just want to know what side you on. Like the contract says, anyone that misses a game is the fine is $500, not $5,000.
If I could just answer that. The contract says a player that misses a game with the Rainmen, your fine that was imposed with you was from a league standpoint of missing, the team missing a game. Now, we're not just talking about the Rainmen, we're talking about the league. So the league has the right, just as any other league, to impose fines against the player, just as our club is as well. So technically, I could have imposed fines against the coach and the player as well as a team, but the fines that were levied against you were fines from the league.
But why
That's
so
totally
fast
different.
though? Why so fast? Why in the less than 24 hours, there's $90,000 in fines, and after they gave us the fines, they said, "Oh, there's going to be investigation." Isn't it supposed to be the other side, the other way?
No.
Aren't they supposed to be investigation first? Because it's such a big game. Like I just don't understand.
Actually, and I mean, I don't want to go back and forth because I mean, I understand why
Thanks.
you feel the way you do. You have a right to feel that way. And I'm not saying what you feel is wrong at all. But what I am saying is at the end of the day, this is a professional league. A professional league that's not perfect. We missed a championship game. The game hasn't been played. This game could have been live on TSN or Sportsnet. The game was live on Eastern. So there is damage that was done. A lot more damage than $90,000. There's millions of dollars of damage that was done because of the decision. So I'm not saying that what you are feeling and what you've experienced is wrong. I have a lot of respect for our players, and especially for you. I think I had a conversation with your agent yesterday, and I told him that I'll be the first one that'll be talking to our league about making sure that players like you and players like Saya is not banned from our league for life. Because I like you, and I love you as a player, actually. You know how hard I went to try to get you back to Halifax. So I don't think you really feel that I'm not on your side. I think right now there's just a lot of emotion going on, and I totally understand that. Not just from you, from a lot of players. And I feel it exactly the same way. I don't think you realize how hurt I am. Because a lot of the things that I've been experiencing from this incident have been behind the scenes. So you would take it as though I'm not on your side. But at the end of the day, You know how hard I've worked. I think this organization, in terms of the way it treats its players, get a lot more than any